Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm gonna talk about HTML today, just for beginners and get you started like as if you didn't know anything. So I'll leave the link in the description for this here blog. It's kind of like a little walkthrough of what I'm gonna talk about, but for now, let's get you started. You need a code editor. I started out with this here Notepad++, but today the standards and the normal best practices just use Visual Studio Code. So just click on that and it's going to take you to the link for the download and installation. So just scroll down and you want to look for Visual Studio Code right here. It's free. Just click on the download. On Windows, so I use the Windows 64. You got Mac and other options as well. Like I said, the link's in the description. Just say yes to all the prompts and go ahead and pause the video until it's installed and come back. So let me go back to the okay. Here's our Visual Studio Code. So right here this will take you to your file system. So if you click on it once, then you can open a folder. And okay, so choose a folder. I created a folder here in Documents, calling it HTML tutorial. Call it what you like. Oops. You can also just drag files into where it says open folder if you're not using their Explorer that's built in. There's many ways of doing it. So if you click here, this is how we create new files and folders in our project. Once again, we're in the tutorial of HTML folder. So right here, the first one is for files and the second one is for folders. So let's make a folder, call it anything.html. And that's how you make your first HTML file. What I'm using and what you should install is, it's called Live Server. So go to down here, it's called extensions, type in Live Server and you want to install it. Just hit install. It's pretty quick, straightforward. Once you got that installed, just X out of there and let's go back to our file system. So here's our first HTML file. Type in HTML and click on the one that says 5, and that'll give us our skeleton boilerplate HTML website starter thing. So just hit Control and S, that way you save it. And I'm gonna explain these in a second. So first though, go to where your file is and right click on it, click open with Live Server and it'll pop up. Yeah, see, there it is. There it is, it popped up now. Okay, I'm gonna split screen it, so hold in the Windows tab and let's do left arrow. Windows, click the right arrow. Okay. So you might notice at the top where the tab is, it says document. So if you look right here, it says document also. So let's change that to the title. Control S and it changed right away. click on this to open and close your file system. And then, so I'm going to explain this to you real quick. So a lot of this is just boilerplate code. So I'm going to copy and paste. Every time you make a website of HTML, you want to have this entire like boilerplate going. You don't even need this language English, just leave it as HTML. So let's go from top to bottom, because that's how the interpreter reads our code anyways, the computer. This is our declaration, so it says doc type HTML, pretty self-explanatory. The document type is HTML. So HTML, this is a tag. And if you can see at the bottom, there's another one. What's the difference between the two? There's a forward slash. See the forward slash right there? That means closing. Okay, so there's an opening tag and closing tag, which makes one entire element. Okay, so there's two parts to our HTML. Right now, as you can see, we have a, let me format this a little differently just to show you. So we have a head, as you can see, it's an opening and closing tag. And then inside of the head, all these meta tags. In our head, we usually have these meta tags that come with it. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a lot to do with like the screen sizing and like when you're going to mobile size and whatnot. This helps the computer read things based on the screen. UTF-8, and also in our head we want to do certain things where you use link. You're going to link your CSS, your JavaScript, and certain like third-party dependencies. That's what you're going to do in the head section of the website. So let's go type something. Type some text right here. Control S. And now let's look back. Where's our, okay, so here's our type some text. Okay, so in our body, let's try some tags. So the H1 through 6, H1, and if you close it off, sometimes Visual Studio Code will finish it for you, but just remember that the closing tag, opening tag equals one element. So that's our element, and let's type something in here. This is H1. Okay, Control S, and there you go. Notice like the size of it. So if you click right here at the end, it's gonna, we can copy this entire line. Hold in Shift and Alt, then down. Press down like a few times to get a few more. So let's change this H1 to H2. Opening and closing. Hit Control S. See how the second one is a little smaller. So let's change these all up. So H2, H3, and let's make this one H4. And H5. It goes up to H6. That's as many you can do. So Control S, and okay, so each one's a little smaller as the number here gets higher. So these are our header tags. Okay, let's get some space. Remember, we're staying within the body. So whatever you put in the body shows up in the web page. Here's your first website. Another thing you can do is if you want to comment something out, it'll still be there in the code for you to see, or whatever developer is looking at the website. Holding control as after you highlight a line, holding control and then the question mark, and you comment it out by putting these characters. Let's do it manually. So put the less than sign, exclamation, and then two dashes, dash dash, and the closing at the end, and greater than. So that's how you comment something out. Hit save. Notice that 2 of them are gone. Okay, so if I delete this here, sometimes you want to leave comments about the code and little notes for yourself. So that's what these comments tags are for. So I'm going to write right here, comments. Okay, let's see what else. So like your website, you might want to make different sections. So these are called div tags. Just think of divisions or something. So div, opening, and get to closing. Hit enter, let's get some space in there. So it's like a section of the page or something, and just say, if you want to make like bullet points, LI, short for list, say 1, and let's just 2, 3, and 4. Now if you hit save, there you go, you have some bullet points. And sometimes, let's talk a little bit about parenting and children. So you see all these LIs are children of this div tag. And these children here are all siblings, brothers and sisters, because they come from the same parents. P for paragraph. I'm gonna do this thing called lorem. It just gives you a bunch of dummy text. So if you type in lorem and say 20, just hit enter, you'll get 20 words of dummy text. And let me just format it better so it stays. So hit save. So I guess it's kind of like the basics of HTML for you to get started and learn. Let me pull my website over here, the blog, make it a little smaller. So yeah, so the first thing you want to do is you want Visual Studio Code, so click here, get this one, and just make a folder in a file, make sure it has the extension of HTML, do the live server thing, remember right click. Here's some boilerplate, like, so if you don't want to type in HTML, you can just copy this here and paste it from top to bottom. See, he's got a body, here's the head, everything in the body is the website. A little bit of explanation of some of the code. Yeah, so that about covers it. Thanks a lot for watching and have a good one, guys.